With Thanksgiving upon us, the Packers continue to seek perfection. Who's the best team in the AFC? Is that a Caleb Haney sighting? And it's Ohio State Michigan week, if you can't tell, all in this week's preview episode of Sports Club.
Yep. If you want, you can borrow my binoculars.
The Packers and the Lions on Thursday afternoon. It's continuous Thanksgiving, always on Thanksgiving afternoon. The Lions, yeah, after a 5 touchdown performance from Stafford, can he put that up against the number 31 rated passing defense in the
That was a
NFL?
staggering stat. So don't fill up too early on the game. There's actually two pretty decent games and a really good Thursday night game.
hmm I'm going to take the Packers in the game. I can't not take them. They're the chance. They're going to be the chance until they're knocked off.
Just like my Patriots thing, you kind of have to ride the wave till it hits the beach, and it's long from the beach right now.
The Lions are actually have a good defense. I think they have the defensive rush to actually put some pressure on Aaron Rodgers, but I'm still going to lean towards having um, Rodgers and Jordy Nelson on the outside. I've got the yeah,
Absolutely,
Packers in a blowout on Thanksgiving Day.
absolutely, and I don't think the other hosts are going to disagree there.
Probably not. Dolphins at the Cowboys on Thursday afternoon. Dolphins coming off of a pretty good win against the Buffalo Bills team. It's a I say it's a good win. It's a division win.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have to
definitely.
count everything when it comes to the division, especially if you're in a
And
playoff hunt.
and in that division, that's like a 1.5 game.
Yeah. The, the Cowboys actually had a close game against Washington last week. Romo continues to throw the ball well.
The funny
He's
thing is, they actually blew out Buffalo the week before that. So
yeah.
both teams that have blew out Buffalo are going to play each other.
Cowboys have to take the stand, in my opinion. They're at home. It's Thursday. It's Thanksgiving. It's another thing with the Lions and the Cowboys. You have to think it's Thanksgiving Day.
Yep,
I'm taking the Cowboys.
absolutely.
In the big matchup on Thursday night, 49ers at the Ravens. The only reason I say it's a big matchup, number one, it's a 7-3 versus a 9-1 team.
That's a big
That's
matchup.
big to begin
There's
with.
there's one.
Number two, you have two pretty decent quarterbacks, Joe Flacco and Alex Smith
I'll
going
give
up
you that.
against each other.
I'll give you that.
Okay? But the biggest one of all, Jim and John are actually facing off against each other.
Exactly. These guys are related.
I mean, this is the first time
That's three
ever.
points. You should
It's
watch this game.
it's the first time ever in NFL history that two brothers have faced off on Thanksgiving Day, let alone head coach against each other.
Right.
The Niners, I said it last week and I'll say it again. I'm not taking anybody but the Niners the rest of the week, the rest of the way out.
I mean, right before we went on, I mentioned the point. Even if the Baltimore defense holds San Francisco offense to minimal points, can Flacco put up 17, 25 points this week too? I think even if it's going to be a tight game, but San Francisco.
And it's going to have to be put on Flacco's shoulders because if you think about it, 49ers still have yet to allow a rushing touchdown, which means Ray Rice probably won't be in the end zone this week.
I would have said that without that
So
stat.
so please, if NFL owners or fantasy owners, if you have Ray Rice,
Sit him.
sit him. 49ers have not allowed a rushing touchdown. It's staggering. We're in week 12.
Absolutely.
It's insane.
And if you're a friend of mine, your name Chris, and you're wanting to ask which Matt to put in this week, go for the Falcons, Matt.
Exactly. Speaking of the Vikings versus the
Good
Falcons,
segue.
yeah, nice.
I have a few left.
The Vikings versus the Falcons. Adrian Peterson's had an MRI yesterday. No tear, no. It's a ankle sprain. You have to think the Falcons have a good chance against this, considering they're 4-2 at home, or excuse me, 3-2 at home this season. They're practically unbeatable at home under Mike Smith and
Right.
Matt Ryan
I mean,
because I
four
think they've
losses in
5 losses. I
five
think now
losses in 3 years.
3 years.
That's Green Bay numbers. That's New England numbers.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take the Falcons at home.
Yep.
Got it. It's another NFC North or yeah NFC North matchup for the Falcons.
Yep. The Dirty Birds will be out.
Again, I think we mentioned this in the recap from last week, but if you didn't watch that, a lot of the games this week stink.
And
They
second of
really
all, if you
are.
didn't watch that, go watch it.
Yeah.
We did good.
Cleveland Browns are facing the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati is going to have to run away with this. Cleveland's not a good team right now, and the only reason they have a decent team isn't because of Madden cover boy Peyton Hillis, because I'm pretty sure,
He's played what, 2 games? Maybe?
yeah, he's not
And to
had a
be
good
fair,
season.
played is not a good word. He put on his uniform for two.
They've actually had people in Cleveland call for Colt McCoy already. But I'm taking the Bengals in the game. The
Yeah.
Buccaneers facing off against the Titans. The Titans are coming off of a pretty close loss to the Falcons. Jake Locker stepped in for Matt Hasselbeck last week. Whether Hasselbeck comes back, we're not sure. We haven't heard anything.
That's actually a question mark
It's
on the
going to
game.
be it's going to be an interesting matchup. Either way, can Tampa Bay game plan for both quarterbacks?
I think so because you're going to have to look at Locker and his inexperience, and to me, that's why he couldn't beat Atlanta was the inexperience.
It,
But I mean, 2 touchdowns look great, but they did have the stand that we mentioned in the previous show. Once again, go watch it already after you watch this one. But yeah, Tampa Bay is going to rebound. They showed they could hang with the champs last week. I think they're going to take this game.
I'm taking Tampa Bay in the game too. I think Tampa Bay is trying to have a bounce back game. Blunt actually, if Blunt continues to run like he is, he ran over 100 yards last week. Michael Turner had 100 yards against Tennessee's defense. Look for a win for Tampa Bay.
And if you have Blunt, put him in.
Yeah, Panthers at Colts. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Um,
I think there are actually coins involved with these picks.
take Carolina in the game. I'm thinking Cam Newton's going to have a. Sorry, I'm thinking Carolina's going to have a good day
It,
against the Indy secondary.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I'm hoping that this is the one shot Indy has of winning a game. Maybe I haven't seen the rest of their schedule. I'm gonna have to bring it up here in a second. But Carolina's kind of faltered. They have like 2 wins. You know, maybe Indy pulls out a win here.
Um,
Let's hope.
let's just think that Jeremy actually has some kind of drinking ahead of him on Thanksgiving. The Cardinals at the Rams,
If he,
another snoozer. Cardinals aren't a good team. Neither are the Rams. The Rams showed it last week against a terrible Seattle team. It's a division matchup, but eh,
I mean, they're saying Skelton's gonna be in unless Cobb is ready to go. But either way, is that an upgrade if Cobb comes back? I don't think so.
I'm going to take St. Louis in the game. I think that Bradford doesn't get sacked 5 times. Gonna head and push it through there.
I got Arizona in this one in a battle of seriously the bottom feeders.
The Bills at the Jets. An interesting matchup just simply because they're both middle of the road teams right now. They're not playing well at all. So you have to think that something's got to break. Something's got to give right now, right?
Yeah.
So why not give Ryan Fitzpatrick his first win as a as a newly signed quarterback?
Well, I just these are two teams that are going the same direction, very much on the disappointing factor, and I've given the benefit of the doubt so many other times. Rex, please give me a win when I actually pick you guys because I'm glad I'm not putting money on any of these games because every time I bet on Rex Ryan he loses. So maybe you should bet against me on this one. I got the Jets.
I'm gonna take the Bills in the game just to counteract you.
It's a coin flip.
Texans at the Jaguars. Take the Texans. You have to think Matt Leinart has to come out, manage the game, hand the ball off to your backs. Don't do anything stupid.
We're
Pretty,
talking about Matt Leinart as a pro.
yeah. Moving on.
Yeah, I got Houston on that one too because Jacksonville they just for some reason won't hand it to that guy named Drew.
Good point. Oakland Raiders versus the Bears on Sunday afternoon. It's a really interesting matchup just simply because Cutler's out. Caleb Haney is in.
That's Caleb with a C.
So Caleb Haney in the NFC Championship played really well, and that was pretty much
He
the last
did.
time we saw him minus last week at the tail
Right.
end of the game.
And B.J. Raji does not play for Oakland, so
So that's a good thing.
we won't see that.
Oakland, on the other hand, has Carson Palmer, who is continuing to look a little bit more like Alex Smith. Manage the game well, hand it off
Exactly.
to your backs. We'll see what happens. That being said, I'm still taking Chicago in the game. I
Yeah,
think their
it's
defense is stronger than Oakland's.
they're another team you just got to keep riding them until they prove otherwise.
Another terrible game. Sorry if any of you disagree with us, especially in these fan bases. Redskins at Seahawks. Ooh,
Yeah,
I'm gonna take Washington in the game. The
that
way that they put up some points up against Dallas last week, I think they put up more points against Seattle.
yeah, Washington easy.
Patriots at Eagles on Sunday afternoon. Interesting game just simply because the Eagles have actually tried to get out of the cellar.
They've showed signs of actually being as good as their payroll would predict.
However, it's against the
We're
Patriots.
talking about Tom Brady.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna stick that in
Oh,
early
okay.
before the sticks get thrown
We'll
later.
get to that later too. But that being said, the Patriots, who's the best team in the AFC?
Uh, even looking at the top 10 from ESPN or Yahoo or wherever we got our list this week, um,
Texans and Patriots are both 7-3.
yeah, but Texans have got Leinart starting now, so it's kind. I mean, nothing personal, but that pops them down at least a half.
Ravens are
I
seven and
mean,
three.
I mean, I
Steelers are
guess,
7-3.
I guess you'd have to say the Steelers or the Patriots would be my guess. But
Go with
that's a total guess just based off numbers.
go with consistency there. The Broncos are facing off against the Chargers on Sunday afternoon. Also, the Chargers are at home. They're 3-2 at home. However, they still have a very underwhelming Philip Rivers at quarterback. He has done nothing but what's the word? Stink lately. He really hasn't
Good
performed
word.
well. On the other hand, the quarterback for Denver has. He may not have performed well statistics wise, but he
He's
continues to win.
he's 4-1 as a starter.
I'm not going to even mention the name. I don't think anybody really needs me to mention
I
the name.
mean, I'm going to because I'm gonna ride the Tebow train until it derails, and even if it's this week, then it's this week. But right now, the guy's getting wins. It's not his it's not his physical stats. It's the leadership that he's given that team. People are getting behind him. The fans are behind him. The teams are behind him. Unlike that former Bronco that we should mention very soon, probably,
Kyle Orton has been released by the Broncos, so you have to think maybe the Broncos are looking to maybe push Tebow up towards that franchise quarterback role.
or at least do something different. I mean, hang on, let me.
Therefore,
This just in, actually, our legal team is working on this. We're in talks trying to get Kyle Orton to join us. We're gonna tune in next week to find out what happens with that.
let's just put it this way: before Tebow took over as Denver starter, Denver was 1-4. They're now 5-5. Enough said.
Exactly.
Denver's got the game, in my opinion. Steelers at Chiefs on the Sunday night game.
I don't know who you kissed up to, Chiefs, but you've had a Monday night game followed by a Sunday night game. Congratulations for being on TV when you shouldn't be.
You guys got patted on the back for being a good team last year. Enough. We're tired of it. Steelers are going to take this game, and I think
Absolutely.
it's going to be by at least 10 points. The Monday night game, Giants and Saints, huge game for the NFC playoff
Absolutely.
implications. The Saints are coming off of a bye. Giants are coming off of a really, really, really terrible win, in my opinion, or a terrible loss, excuse
Yeah.
me, terrible loss. Who do you take in this game?
I mean, for one, Drew Brees and Sean Payton had 2 weeks to prepare for Eli Manning, and since they weren't playing, they got a chance to watch him attempt to play over the weekend. So at this point, you got to take the Saints.
I'm taking the Saints. They're 4-0 at home this year. Plus, they're coming off of a bye.
They,
That does add up, in my opinion.
a bye week isn't just you have time off, you have time for injuries to heal. They're going to be good to go.
Yep. Saints on Monday Night Football.
Absolutely.
The big game that we're dressed up for Saturday afternoon.
Dressed up, I wear this a lot.
Uh-huh. Saturday afternoon, the oldest or one of the oldest rivalries in college football, probably the best and arguable best rivalry in sports,
I put it in my top two, most people top three.
at least. Ohio State's facing off against Michigan this week.
Yep, and I love your stat line you have here. The fact that we have 2 losses and you have 5.
Yeah, don't count that out. Okay, Wolverines had a really good year. Brady Hoke has come in and just turned that team around. It almost seems like Brady Hoke comes in and said, I believe in you guys. You can do this. And they're like, oh, okay, this sounds cool.
It's I hate to say his name again, but it's the Tebow factor. You bring in a Michigan alum, people are gonna get behind him a lot more than Rich Rod, who was not anywhere close to Michigan.
Ohio State, on the other hand, has come off two incredibly tough losses, one to Purdue, one to Penn State last week.
I mean,
But
I'll give it to you guys that you're staying in close games and that you are showing a lot of signs. I had you guys counted out this year. I thought this would be a snoozer game, but you guys have made enough of a showing to where I actually want to watch this game.
I'm going to watch the game just because I watch it every year. Is much as it pains me, I'm taking Ohio State.
That's, I didn't think any other way. Obviously, I'm taking Michigan on that one, even though I don't think our quarterback's going to be the factor. And since most of our target audience is going to be watching another game right before this one, actually, I will be at this game.
It's
Um,
actually the same time.
is it really?
Yeah,
They moved that one to 12?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That okay? Well, hello TiVo. Thanks for. But UGA is playing against Georgia Tech in what is in this area one of the biggest rivalries. I mean, you'd have to put it probably top 10.
It's a tough game for Georgia Tech, especially coming off or realizing that with the passing of Larry Munson this week, Georgia's going to be playing inspired football. Not only that, but they're trying to pad their record. They still
Absolutely.
have the slightest, and I mean slightest, outside chance of making it to the national title. They already made it to the SEC championship. If they beat LSU and beat Georgia Tech, they could actually move up
They would have an
in the
argument,
polls.
but
However, Georgia Tech is having a terrible or an up and down season.
right.
They started out just throwing strong. They had 63 points, 63 points. They just kept throwing at.
Well, the triple option is hard to figure out, but when you do figure it out, it's pretty tough to get it off.
I'm taking Georgia by at least 10 points in this game. It's going to be a tough game for Georgia Tech to win, especially for what we mentioned.
I like Aaron Murray. I wish he would come out this year, but I'm hopefully not going to convince him of that because I actually, as much as I'm not really a fan, I like watching Aaron Murray play. He's going to be good in the NFL one day, and definitely I'm taking UGA. And if you
Okay,
see me at the game, track me down. Maybe we'll hook you up with some sports club swag.
sounds good. But from our family to yours, we hope you guys have a really, really good Thanksgiving. Please eat safe, drive safe if you're traveling, and we'll see you on the back end of or the start of the holiday season.
Absolutely.
All right.
With our special guest host.
All righty.
We'll see you next week.